Hello, everyone. Hey, good evening to everyone, and welcome to our Monday nights. What did I call it? Monday nights peek inside the book with our authors. So tonight we have a treat. It is Carolyn, right? Carolyn Miller
Yes.
from Down Under, which is going to be awesome and fun and exciting. And I hope you guys join her. I'm going to actually fade out because this is her show tonight, and I hope everyone enjoys it. I've been reading her book and I'm laughing, so it's all good. and welcome, Carolyn, and have a fun evening.
Thanks so much, Anne.
All
Thank you,
right.
everybody. It's great to be here. As you can tell, I'm from Australia, and I'm super excited to be here to be able to talk about my new book, The Breakup Project, and the new series that this is part of. But first of all, I'm really grateful, Anne, that you are opening this up tonight for me and for other authors to be able to share down the track as well. It's super awesome. So a little bit about me. Currently, it is Tuesday, 12:01 p.m. here in my corner of Australia. I live on the East Coast, about halfway between Sydney and Canberra, which is our nation's capital. And yeah, we do not get the snow that you tend to get. And I understand a lot of you are enjoying some snow at the moment. I hope you're staying warm. Here in Australia, we've had a few hot days because it's summer here. And I love the fact that we can actually connect like this around the world. It's super awesome. So, anyway, good evening to you and hello. And I hope that you enjoy this time that we have together. As I said, I'm going to be sharing about my book, The Breakup Project, which is the first book in a new series that I have written called The Original Six, which is based on the original six hockey cities. And it's a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun to write. It's been a lot of fun to research because it means I have to, look up hockey players. Anyway, hi, Linda. Thank you for joining us today. Hi, Anne again. So I'm going to do a little bit of reading from this, and I'm going to share a little bit more about that. Some people may know me more as a historical author, and it might interest them to know that the first few books I ever wrote were not actually historical. I actually started writing because I was watching the Winter Olympics back in 2010. I think I was at the gym actually, and I was watching some ice hockey and I was just fascinated by it. I thought, wow, what a tough sport. It's not a sport that we tend to have too much of here in Australia because, hello, we do sunshine, not ice so much. So, anyway, it was fun to see this sport, and it was fun to imagine what it must be like to be that sort of person. And then I was back at home now, watching the closing ceremony of the Vancouver Winter Olympics. And I saw this Australian athlete walking, holding hands with an American guy. And I thought, well, how on earth do two Olympians manage to meet and then sustain a relationship that they're happy to publish to the entire world? And so, despite my best researching efforts, I couldn't find out who they were. And so this couple had just grabbed a hold of me because I just think that's fascinating. Two people from very different parts of the world. Like, we know the time zones are insane. So how do you actually have a relationship when you live so far apart, when you are both, elite athletes with massive training schedules, competition schedules? Presumably you just don't get to see each other very often. So how do you do relationships like that? And so I made up this story, and that story became this one, which is releasing in a couple of weeks. It's so exciting. So this story is called Love on Ice. I'm going to just read the back blurb because I'm excited about this. So, Aussie short track skater Holly Travers has one goal: make the Vancouver Games, no matter what it takes. She has no time for distractions, even if they come in the handsome form of her best friend's twin brother. This hockey player may say he's not a player, but can she trust him? Brent Carlson has one goal: make his sister's best friend realize he's a changed man and she should give him a chance. When a setup in Hawaii helps these two opposites realize they have more in common than they thought, what happens when he wants to turn their fake relationship into something real? And how can a relationship work when these two elite athletes never see each other and live on opposite sides of the world? So, this, Love on Ice, was the very first story I wrote. So, I'm super, super excited that this story that I first wrote 12 years ago is finally about to be published. And I was deliberate with the timing. Hi, Lisa. Just commenting to the chats here. Because that was the very first story I wrote. I had to wait until, I learned a lot more about writing and publishing. And I wanted it to be timed with the Winter Olympics that's happening this year, next month. So Love on Ice comes out next month. But that was actually, because it was the very first book I had written, I wanted to, I didn't really know what I was doing when I first wrote it. And so when I took my mess of a manuscript to an editor a few years ago, she'd suggested that there was actually another story in it. And that story became the Breakup Project. So if you're someone who likes the cutting edge, thank you, Anne, you'll enjoy the sort of banter that you get in Love on Ice. It's a story of opposites who sort of attract, but there's a lot to sort of work with there, and a lot of challenges too, because people who, like I say, live in different countries, who have very important training schedules, competition schedules. It's not like you're the boy next door and you get to see them all the time. You actually have to learn a lot about trust and what appears in social media and stuff like that may not always be the truth. So there's a lot to kind of have to work through with that sort of thing. So that was the very first story I wrote. But as I said, an editor suggested that there was another story in there, and that story was the story of Holly's best friend, whose name is Bree Carlson. So Bree and Brent are twins, and Holly, my Australian athlete person, had ended up going to stay at Bree's in Toronto a number of years ago as an exchange student, which is how she got to know her, and they stayed in contact and so on. So Bree and Holly are best friends, and so Bree, I'd written Love on Ice so that there was a bit of a scene right at the start where Holly and Brent can actually interact and stuff like that. So it was quite fun trying to write the Breakup Project a number of years after having written Love on Ice. So I sort of had to extrapolate all the little details that I'd had and bring them back to create this story. So anyway, I hope that's all making sense. It's really hard to sort of pull it all out and hope that it's going across all these time zones the way it should be, and hopefully making sense. But anyway, this story is about Bree and Mike. Now, just one more little thing about the original 6, which is the series title. It's about the original 6 NHL teams, which is Boston, Detroit, Chicago, Montreal, New York, and Toronto. And so what I'd done when I'd first written that, the Love on Ice story, I loved writing that. I love researching that. I'd written another story after my husband and I were fortunate enough to go and visit Northeast North America back in 2010. My husband and I flew to Boston, and then we drove up the East Coast because, hello, red hair, I'm an Anne of Green Gables fan. We had to go to Prince Edward Island, we had to. And then we drove across from Prince Edward Island to Montreal, then to Muskoka, which is just north of Toronto. Then we drove down to Niagara Falls, to Buffalo, and then flew to Chicago. So it was, a few years later after that I realized I've actually visited 4 of the original 6 locations. Hadn't been to New York, hadn't been to Detroit. So maybe I could actually write a story that actually incorporates some of these different sorts of things. Oh, who doesn't love Anne of Green Gables? You're right, Linda. She's just awesome, right? Well, actually, the reason we had to go to Muskoka was because I like L.M. Montgomery's books, including The Blue Castle. And so I'd written a book called Muskoka Blue, which was based in that area of Ontario. So it linked really well to Toronto, which is really cool. Okay, is hockey big in Australia? No. We do have an ice hockey league, but because we're more about sunshine than about snow, it's, we don't actually have too many ice skating rinks here in Australia. I have been to a couple of games here in Australia. I've actually been to a Chicago Blackhawks game in Chicago. That was super cool. Literally. I've also seen some games which have been between like the exhibition games between Canada and Australia as well in Sydney, and that was really cool to see too. It's just awesome. And I don't know what I've done, but my daughter now loves it, and so she keeps me informed on what's happening, trades and all sorts of stuff. We watched the the grand final, well, not the grand final, the Stanley Cup finals last year, not live, that would have been awesome, but by TV. So that was really cool too. Yeah, it's a great game for anyone who has not watched it. I just think it's always amazed me just at the fitness of the players who have to do that, because it's all about skill, it's about stamina, you've got to have your speed, all sorts of stuff. I just think that's really amazing. So I really enjoyed getting into that, learning a little bit more about it, and learning that there are Christian hockey players that were just begging to have stories told about them. Most of you would know Carrie Underwood. You might be aware that she married Mike Fisher, who is a prominent Christian NHL player, or was. He retired a year or 2 ago. And it's just like, okay, there's a guy. There's other Christian guys as well. I was super excited last year before, to learn about an NHL Bible study group, which was being conducted by the Boston Bruins. And it's like, oh, wow, how cool is that? Sorry, I think he's retired. He did go back, he retired and then went back, and I think he's retired now. So I was so excited to learn about this Bible study group that was happening for the Boston Bruins, and it's like, oh, why couldn't we extend that and make that our series concept? So basically, the original 6 is about Christian ice hockey players who play for the NHL, who are all single, who obviously need romance in their life. They need the love of a good Christian woman. And so it was like, well, let's explore how that could happen. And so it happens via an online Bible study, which is where the guys connect. They get to meet occasionally, not all the time, because they live in different cities, they have different commitments, etc., etc. So each book focuses on a different guy set in a different city. So I was super excited to be able to set the Breakup Project in Boston, because it was a place that I visited. And I don't pretend to be any great expert on either the hockey or the cities or whatever, but I do kind of view it as a bit of my love letter to these different places that I loved visiting. And yes, Boston is just such a really cool place. And I loved incorporating some of the places that I'd visited um, into the different scenes and stuff like that. So if you read it closely enough, you might go, oh, I've been there, or oh, I know what she's talking about. I've loved including different pictures and things like that. So photographs I've taken and sticking them on my website. So if you want to go and check them out, they're at carolynmillerauthor.com. Follow the links to books or bonus, whatever it is. And there's all sorts of photos and stuff like that from my travels. So yes, it's been super fun. Oh, how cool. We got to do a little bit of traveling around Boston, and again, I kind of included that in the story because, you know, when we live literally on the other side of the world, it's like you got to make the most of your time there, right? So we visited Concord and saw the Little Women's House. We also went to Salem because that was just such, you know, an iconic sort of place to visit as well, and not something we didn't really do witch trials here in Australia. So it was just fascinating and just different, and, you know, loved our time there. Anyway, what I'm going to do is to read the back cover blurb of the Breakup Project. I'm going to read the first chapter, and then I will answer some questions. So anyway, here we go. New year, new resolution, new romance. What happens when the best laid plans break a friendship? As the twin sister of hockey's hottest forward, romance-loving Brie Carlson is used to being ignored, leading to a New Year's resolution to not date any athlete in her goal to find Mr. Right. But what happens when the man who might prove to be her personal Mr. Darcy is her brother's hockey-playing best friend? Mike Vaughan might be happy playing in Boston, but he'd be even happier if Brie could one day see him as more than a good friend. He agrees to help Brie with a special project in the hope she'll finally see him as something more. But when a misunderstanding ends in a Valentine's Day disaster, Brie realizes that her breakup project may have broken her friendship with Mike in two. Can she ever redeem her mistake? This Friends to More romance has plenty of heart, humour, and swoon-worthy kisses in this first book of the original 6, a sweet, slightly sporty Christian contemporary romance series. All right, are you ready for chapter 1? Here we go. Chapter 1, Detroit, Michigan, December 31. Because it is a truth that should be universally acknowledged, that the sister of a hockey player will forever have hockey in her future. Brianna Carlson leaned forward, drawing on the purple eyeliner with a steady hand. Too much and she'd look like a clown, but just the right amount and hello world. And that's especially the case for the twin sister of someone regarded as one of the NHL's top forwards. Laughter flowed from the phone propped up against the mirror and switched on speaker. You poor thing. Really feeling for you here, Holly Travis said, her Australian accent holding friendly sarcasm. Brie grinned and carefully swiped on mascara. And so you should. I can't believe that all the guys I know either play hockey or want to talk about hockey as soon as they know I'm the sister of the Brent Carlson. She wrinkled her nose. So what are you going to do? I don't know. I think this coming year I should swear off dating hockey players. I can never tell if the guys I date are interested in me or interested in getting to know him. Mind you, the way he's been acting lately. What's happened? Oh, I wish you were here. You'd pull him down a peg or 3. He's gotten so arrogant, like the air we plebs breathe down here isn't good enough for him. Remember I told you about his girlfriend? Apparently she's going to be at the party tonight. I can't wait. Yeah, sounds like it, Holly said, her irony detector working well. I cannot believe my brother would fall for someone like her. Did you see those pictures I sent of her that she posted online? Yep. Don't you think she looks like a... Yep. I can't get over how he's so shallow as to go for a girl like that. She's so fake. Fake hair, fake tan, fake. I'll be praying for him. Brie exhaled. Thanks, Hol. That means a lot. That was probably something she should do more of too. I really feel he needs a God intervention and to have the right woman come along soon. Hey, I'd better go. Mike's coming to collect me and I don't want to be late. Mike? Mike Vaughan, remember him? Another of Brent's friends. Plays for Boston and here for New Year's. I'm pretty sure you met him when you stayed with us all those years ago. We've known him forever. Another hockey player, huh? Don't tease. No, he's just a friend. One of the good ones, but he's not my type. No tingles and toe curls? Alas, no. Alas? Does that mean you'd like there to be? Oh, stop making mischief. No, Mike is not my type. Never has been, never will be, so put that out of your head. Things have gotten so sad, I think I'll have to find someone like one of your young men. Well, if you teach Sunday school, maybe you will. At least 4-year-old boys have no problem sharing their emotions. A knock came at the hotel door. Ooh, I should go. I'll snap a pic and send it to you so you can tell me if I look okay. Bree, you always look beautiful. And comments like that are why you're my best friend. Holly chuckled. Go have fun and Happy New Year. I'm praying it's the best one yet and that you'll meet the man of your dreams. Thanks, Hol. I'll be praying for your man to make an appearance too. Happy New Year to you too. Yeah, it's January already here in Australia. The knock came again. Oops, better go. Bye. Bree ended the call, checked her appearance in the mirror one more time, and made a face at her reflection. Blessed with Carlson genetics, she'd never owned Holly's petite frame, except maybe when she was 10. At least this dress didn't accentuate the curves newly acquired since Christmas. She twisted. Well, maybe she should keep her coat on, and buttoned across the waist. A third knock. Oh, I'm coming! She rushed to the door and opened it to see Mike, his hand raised as if to knock once more. Oh, hi. I'm so sorry. I was chatting with Holly. Remember her? She's the Australian girl who stayed with us on exchange years ago and is now training as a short track skater. Did you know she wants to represent her country at the Games in a couple of years? I think she's so impressive and probably will make it because she's so dedicated and trains so hard and breathe, Bree. She laughed and obeyed. Hi, Mike. Hi, Bree. He smiled. Well, she might not get tingles and toe curls, but she couldn't deny the handsomeness of the man. Fair hair, blue eyes, even features, and a smile that conveyed sincerity and laid-back good humour, not to mention a physique that demonstrated his commitment to his sport. She gestured to his evening attire, a navy suit stretching across broad shoulders, his straw blonde hair carefully styled for once. You look nice. I aim to please. His lips pulled wider, and the light in his eyes seemed to confirm the truth of his words, causing an interesting twinge in her upper torso, which was ridiculous. Mike had been a family friend forever. She certainly wasn't interested in someone like him. All that talk of boyfriends before had made her a little loopy. Obviously, her body just needed time to get the memo. No dating hockey players this year. Just give me a second more. She grabbed her bag, touched both earrings to ensure they were still there, and wrapped a scarf around her neck. Perhaps that should be her New Year's resolution. A nod. That would be her resolution, one she would keep. Unlike last year's to avoid chocolate and do 30 minutes exercise every day. She sucked her tummy in, turned back to Mike and smiled. So, how do I look? You look... He gave her the once-over and swallowed. You look great. Oh, good. For a minute there, I thought you didn't know what to say and were just trying to be polite. And I've tried to make an effort tonight because it's not every day a girl gets to go to an NHL's team's New Year's Eve party. Hey, do you mind taking a quick photo? Sure. She handed him her phone and posed in front of the door. Tummy in, chin up, face angled. He took a couple of pictures. Does one of them look okay? She shifted close and peered at his handiwork. They all look great, Bree. Hey, we should get one of us together. I'm sending a pic to Holly. I'll take it with my phone. He stretched out his arm. She leaned close to his face, smiled, and he snapped a photo. Let me see. She looked at the image and nodded. Hey, we look good. Yeah. Can you text it to me? Then I'll send it to Holly. Sure. They spent the next minute sending photos, and she finally closed the door. I'm still surprised you came tonight. Brent asked, and for once I can come. I hope you're not disappointed. No, not at all. I was just saying to Holly how good it is to have someone involved in the hockey world who is a friend who I don't have to worry about. His brow wrinkled. Worry about? Has someone been bothering you? Oh, no, not really. At his frown, she hastened to reassure. No, not at all. No, it's just something I've decided that I should do differently this coming year. And what's that? But the way he looked at her, all sincerity and care, made her strangely reluctant to share. Mike was a nice guy. It didn't seem right to lump him in with the others, but he played hockey, so must be included. but it still didn't mean she wanted to admit her New Year's resolution to him. His lips twitched. What? Nothing. It's not nothing. Go and tell. Is this another resolution? He knew her too well. Maybe. Like the year you decided not to eat bread anymore? He chuckled softly. How long did that last? 3 days. But seriously, how did you remember that? I pay attention, Brie. Huh. They moved to the elevators, her heels clicking along the tiles. Well, anyway, I'm so glad you're here. He glanced at her as he pressed the down button, his features pulling into a smile. And why is that? She stepped in next to him and nearly toppled, so clutched his arm. I want your opinion on something. You know Brent better than anyone, except his family. Brent? Yeah, you know that twin of mine? Your best friend since grade school? Hockey World's hottest upcoming forwards edition? Oh, that Brent. His mouth twitched. Yeah, I've heard of him. She swatted his arm. I want your advice, and tonight should be the perfect opportunity. You know he's going out with this Chloe girl? His lips thinned. Yeah. Well, I really think he's getting a little carried away with his own publicity, chasing a girl like that. To be fair, I don't think he's the one doing all the chasing. Yeah, but he's not exactly discouraging her, is he? And he should. She's bad news. He needs a good girlfriend, someone who's a Christian, not someone like a Chloe. He is an adult, Brie, an adult making dumb choices. Come on, would you want to see Chloe end up marrying him? Mike chuckled. I don't think he's thinking marriage just yet. He better not be. He's barely known the girl 2 minutes, which is why I don't think you should be worrying. Yeah, but you should have heard him at Christmas. He was all, I want you to meet Chloe. We should have invited Chloe. He's never acted like that before. Have you met her? He asked. No. That's what I'm doing tonight, and that's why I'm glad you're here to back me up. He released a low whistle. You want me to meet someone for the first time and agree with your prejudice? Ouch. Come on, Mike, it's not prejudice to make assumptions about someone when they post pictures of themselves in swimsuits that barely cover important parts. Isn't it? I must have misunderstood what prejudice is. She frowned and pulled her arm away. I didn't think you were like all the rest. All the rest? Guys, happy to absolve a woman just because she's beautiful. You think she's pretty? Well, yes. Pretty plastic too. But she sensed saying that would not go down well with Brent's best friend. How had she misread him? Brie, I've never met Chloe, so I'd like to reserve judgment until then. But haven't you seen the pictures on the internet? His lips tweaked to one side. I don't go looking through the internet for pictures of other guys' girlfriends. He glanced at her. I didn't think you would either. Luckily, the elevator stopped, the doors finally swooshed open, and the sounds of the party overrode everything, removing the need for her to reply. Not that she'd known exactly what to say. This man kept confounding her. She'd known him nearly all her life. How could he not see things as she did? A tall figure near the doors to the function room straightened. Brent. Brie pasted on a smile, even as she checked out the woman standing next to him, in a white dress so tight you could watch her digestive system ripple. So, this was Chloe. A swift glance up and down. Yep, exactly as she'd imagined. Too low, too high, too... Finally, Brent said, you sure took your time. Why do you always assume it's me who takes a long time to get ready? Brie pushed her dark hair over her shoulder. Why couldn't it be Mike who was primping for ages? Because I know you both too well. Well, perfection takes a while. Anyway, hello, Brent. Good game tonight. She reached up to give him a hug. 6 inches taller, made less so by these heels that meant she towered over his girlfriend. She supposed she should act like a Christian. Hello, fake smile. You must be Chloe. Hi. The woman's heavily mascaraed and silver-shadowed brown eyes did their own quick scan. Bree sucked in her stomach a little more. It wasn't fair that some girls got looks in both the face and figure departments. And what was with the basic hi? Surely, as Brent's twin sister, Any girlfriend of his should try a little harder to be friendly. Brent did the introductions, and Chloe's eyes lingered on Mike, his smile curving into something that seemed edged with interest. Indignation rose in Bree's chest. Seriously? Eyeing off another man right in front of her own boyfriend? So, what do you do, Chloe? Mike asked, ever the gentleman. Oh, I'm a model. Of course she was. Bree caught Mike's glance and rolled her eyes. What exactly do you model? She asked sweetly. Brianna. Brent frowned at her. She's just getting started. That must be why I've seen so many pictures of you on the internet, Bree said, fake smiling some more. Look, she was being interested, asking questions, which was way more effort than Chloe was making. I'm not sure what photos you've seen, Chloe said with a coy look up at Brent under false lashes. Yep, fake blonde hair, fake tan, fake lashes, and judging from the skinniness of everywhere else, fake curves on top. So, did you two meet at church? Brent hooked an eyebrow at Bree. Seriously? She narrowed her gaze at him. What had happened to the boy who had made a Jesus commitment in his mid-teens? Seriously, how is church these days, Brent? Oh, I didn't know you went to church. Chloe cooed up at him. Fake nails, talons really, digging into his upper arm. That's so sweet. Maybe you should ask him to take you, Bree said, her fingers, talon-free, clenching. She grew vaguely aware of Mike moving closer, touching her arm. She sucked in a breath, released it slowly. So, Chloe uncoiled herself from Brent's side, eyes shifting back to Bree. What do you do? I work in a preschool. Wholesome, family-focused. Why did that seem so boring now? She's the assistant director of one of Toronto's leading childcare centres, Mike added. Bree glanced up at him, surprised. His gaze warmed, tiny gold flecks dancing in the depths of his blue eyes. Told you I paid attention. She echoed his smile with one of her own. So, how long have you two been a couple for? What? Bree shifted her attention back to Chloe. Do you mean Mike and me? Oh, we're not together. Mike's been a family friend for as long as I can remember. We're just friends. Yeah, just friends, Mike echoed, shifting away. Brent glanced at his watch, then placed a hand on Chloe's lower back. Should we go in, babe? I'm getting hungry. When are you not? Bree muttered, noting Brent's watch seemed brand new. How much did that cost? Or was it a perk from one of his many endorsements? She glanced at his product-enhanced, upswept hair. Wait, did he have highlights now? Where had her down-to-earth, fun-loving brother gone? Even his teas held an edge these days. She couldn't help but observe Chloe slink her way into Brent's side again. Ugh. At least she didn't have to pretend politeness inside the function room, the noise and music providing a million distractions. Shoulders slumping, she trailed behind as Brent led the way to a buffet table filled with mouth-watering deliciousness. But the knowledge she must appear a size 14 to Chloe's size 4 made her hesitate. Are you hungry? Mike asked. She was starving, but also self-conscious, and didn't want to start stuffing her face if Chloe wasn't eating. Maybe that's what she needed to do to lose weight, just not eat. Bree? Oh, I might get something later. You sure? She eyed the platter of savouries wistfully. Perhaps if she danced later, she could earn some calories now. Or, Chloe edged into view. Bree bet no one had ever called her thunder thighs. Maybe not. I might just have water. And maybe some lettuce. Weren't lettuce and celery supposed to have negative calories? I'll be back in a minute. She watched Mike disappear into the feeding frenzy, then stepped back, glancing around her. She recognized most of the guys here, either from visits to games or from the roster, and so smiled and nodded and managed some small talk, but the music made it hard to hear. Brent seemed to have disappeared with Chloe, she didn't want to think where, and Mike was chatting to someone by the table, probably fending off questions about why a Boston player was welcoming in the new year here in Detroit. Bree knew a sudden pang of loneliness and felt a ridiculous urge to leave, to find a space where she could cry and sift through this tumult of emotions, because this hustling, burly, super fit model on arms scene wasn't her. wasn't where she wanted to be. She'd once loved glamming up for nights like this, but now it seemed she didn't belong. Everything felt topsy-turvy, too awkward and artificial. Truth be told, she'd rather be at home watching a chick flick, eating ice cream and wearing fluffy slippers instead of these ridiculous heels. Was she getting old or something? Hey, it's Brie, isn't it? She turned, caught the hockey player's eyes sliding from her chest to her face. Ugh, this is why she didn't want to date athletes. Even if they professed to be Christians or attended church, too many seemed too focused on bodies, often appearing to want only one thing, more like a player than a gentleman. Not that she needed a Mr. Darcy type. She'd always thought him a little too aloof to ever really be the kind of guy she'd want to marry. But it wouldn't hurt for guys to be a little courteous at least. And you are, apart from sleazy, Alex Turner. I play with Brent. She nodded, fought the desire to cover her neckline with a dozen paper napkins. Not that she was showing too much skin, or much at all really, compared to some girls here tonight. But apparently some guys weren't like Mike and didn't know how to treat a woman respectfully. Mike's eyes had never strayed below her chin. Are you having fun? He asked, or maybe more like yelled. Not really, she replied. I find some people here a little sleazy, to be honest. I don't like being looked at like I'm a piece of meat. He choked, muttered something she didn't hear, and quickly slunk away. Good riddance. Honestly, why did women put up with guys looking at them like that? Maybe they liked the feeling of power that came with attractiveness. That so wasn't her. She sighed, her gaze sliding past guys she didn't recognize to the one she did. God bless Mike. Faithful, easy-going Mike, an ever-present haven from her brother's tease. If he wasn't Brent's best friend, and if she hadn't vowed never to date hockey players, he might even be worth considering as boyfriend material. He caught her gaze, and her discomfort eased as she returned his smile. Mike's heart skidded. If asked to describe his ideal woman, Brianna Carlson would tick every box. She always had, ever since he'd first known the Carlson family, through school and church and hockey all those years ago. Her eyes met his and drew him once again into her beauty. The violet grey eyes, the perfect skin, the dark glossy hair he yearned to touch. But despite years of admiration, he'd never allowed his feelings to kindle into anything warmer. What was the point when Brent had pretty much warned every guy to stay away? Mike had seen the way Brent had snapped at other guys and taken the out-of-bounds caution to heart. But now, with Brent distracted, maybe he could see if there might ever be a chance. Thumping music more house techno than Keith Urban thudded through his ears. He winced, moving between chattering groups, and found Bree in a slightly quieter section, now pensively staring out the window. Here you go. She turned, nearly toppled. Mike held out an arm to catch her. Whoa, sorry. Her jolted movement jogged his elbow. The sauce now dripped down his shirt sleeve. Oh no, let me fix that. It doesn't matter. But apparently it did. She tugged free one of the paper napkins he held and dabbed at the stain. I'm so sorry, Mike. I'm getting everything wrong tonight. Hey, it's okay. It's all okay. Even the whole Brent and Chloe thing will be okay. She blinked rapidly as if fighting tears. How do you know? I have a feeling. What, like a feeling they'll grow old together and live happily ever after? Yeah, not that. Oh, thank goodness, she exhaled. Wait, are these feelings of yours trustworthy? Some can be, and others probably should be locked in a box and thrown, with key, into Boston Harbor. She finished her ministrations and drew him closer to the window overlooking the Detroit River. Okay, so do you agree? About Brent? Yeah, him and Chloe. Don't you think they're just so wrong for each other? Yes, but I still think the man can make his own choices. It's like he's being blinded by her gorgeousness. Did she say that because she didn't see herself as pretty? Why do so many women seem to judge their worth on their looks and assume all men judge the same, when it was their heart and character that proved the real deal in lasting attraction? Still, he had to stand up for his man. Do you really think Brent's so shallow? I don't know what to think anymore. She bit her lip. eyed him in a way that made him long to amend his earlier comment that she looked great to something more appropriate, like, I think you're the most beautiful woman here tonight. But he sensed this fractured relationship with her brother needed something deeper than his own admission of attraction. Bree, I agree Brent isn't the same guy who started in the NHL 6 years ago. He's playing really well, and I guess it's natural he's a little caught up in his own world. Yeah, but you're not. I'm not the face of my team, or the one being featured in Hockey Today. You played just as well as him. Pleasure filled his chest. I didn't think you noticed. Of course I do. If it's not the Wings or Toronto, then Dad's always got the Boston games on. Oh, right. The warm satisfaction trickled away. Your dad, huh? And me, when I'm home and not on a date. His chest grew tight. Anyway, stop fishing for a compliment. She swatted his arm playfully. So, what are we going to do? About Brent? Don't you think he needs some kind of intervention? Holly said she's praying for him, which I already do, but I don't think it can hurt to help God a little. Holly's spirit's little helper, huh? His eyebrows rose. What's wrong with that? Was that your way of helping before, with that super subtle dig about church? Her smile flashed brighter than the disco lights bouncing around the room. He didn't appreciate that, did he? I think you need to be careful, Bree, and not act in a way that will damage your relationship. Please, give me some credit. I know you're smart and caring, and you love your family and want what's best for them, but I also know you can get pretty passionate at times. Well, of course I do. That goes along with caring and loving someone, doesn't it? He stared at her for a moment, then dropped his eyes. Truth burned in his chest. Was this his moment? Bree, I was wondering. Oh, there you two are. What are you talking about? Brent, once more entwined with Chloe, glanced between them. Mike couldn't very well answer. You? Just a little project I was thinking on for the new year. Bree shot Mike a mischievous look. Is that something to do with your preschool? Chloe asked. No, another little project. I might even see if Granny Violet is interested in helping me. She's always invested in the best interests of her grandchildren. She raised her eyebrows at Mike. Yep, he knew what she was hinting at. Granny Violet was the Carlson family prayer warrior. He could only smile and shake his head. I'd like to meet this grandmother of yours, Chloe said, batting eyelashes Mike was pretty sure were fake. They made her brown owls look a bit like a Jersey cow. One day, Brent said, then turned to his sister. You eaten anything? Not yet. That's got to be a first. He clicked his fingers, celebrity style, and the server appeared and offered a tray of savoury pastries. Bree hesitated, glanced at Chloe, then back at the tray, then snatched one, moaning a little as she stuffed in a mini spring roll. Oh, that's so yummy. Somehow a little piece of sauce-flecked, flaky pastry flew from her mouth to land on Chloe's slinky dress, the red spot smack dab on the part of her chest covered by fabric. Oh, I'm so sorry. Bree moved to help clean it away. Ugh, get away from me, Chloe said, inching away, her nose wrinkled in disgust. Brianna. Brent's eyebrows plunged, his expression as cold as Lake Ontario in the grip of winter. It was an accident. Brent's stormy glance revealed his skepticism, pushing words from Mike's throat. Come on, man. You don't think Bree did it deliberately. I know you don't like me, Chloe said to Bree, fluffing her hair behind one shoulder as she pushed her lips, were they artificially inflated, into a trout pout. I can't help it if your brother wants to spend time with me rather than you. Bree's mouth sagged. I beg your pardon? Sooner or later, you have to cut the cord and live your own life and let others live theirs. You've got it wrong. Hurt pinched Bree's face. Brent, baby, could we go? Chloe said in a wheedling voice. I don't feel welcome here. Brent glanced at Bree and shrugged, then with a thanks for coming, man, fist bumped Mike and walked away. Bree's breath caught, and she turned to Mike, tears shining in her eyes. Can you believe that? That was pretty cold. His heart twisted at her shaken expression. How could Brent let his girlfriend insult his sister like that? I'm sorry, Bree. Should he wrap his arm around her, give her a hug, show her not all guys are cruel? She blinked rapidly, shook her head, and drew herself up. See how bad he's getting? He really needs us. Please say you'll help me with the Breakup Project. God forgive him. But his desire to help Bree had less to do with wanting Chloe out of Brent's life, cold as she'd been to poor Bree, and more with wanting to wipe the bewildered sadness from Bree's face. And if it meant she spent more time with him, then he wasn't opposed to that. I'll help you. You will? Her face lit and his heart gave another painful throb. Oh, thank you. I knew I could count on you. She grinned, lifting her chin, reverting to that spunky sass he'd always admired about her. Now, she clutched his arm again, sending tingles up his spine. What exactly do you propose we should do? There we go. That is chapter 1 of the Breakup Project. And you can see the setup. You can see some of the characters that we'll be seeing in other books as well. And it's just fun. I really enjoyed writing this story. I enjoyed visiting Boston again. And I enjoyed incorporating other sorts of things into the story as well. Later on, you'll see that there's a bit of a missions adventure, and they go, or Mike visits the Philippines. Yes, it's available now. Thank you, Facebook user. I hope that you'll check it out. They visit the Philippines, and I loved incorporating this because I actually used a real life missions organization that friends of mine started. And in the scenes that are set in the Philippines, there's a number of oh, thank you, Lisa. It's always tricky when you read things aloud and you go, oh, should I try and do voices? I don't really know. So I might have tried a little bit, but don't know how well that came across. Anyway, in the Philippines, the scenes that are set there are actually based on real life things that have happened to my husband, who's visited the Philippines on missions trips on a number of occasions. And you might even come across some miracles that occur, which are genuine real life things that have happened. And I've got an author's note at the end which just explains that a little bit more. And yes, somebody asked, is this available now? Yes, it's available now, paperback, even hardback, but also ebook. And as a bit of a thing, I actually have, I'm about to bump up the price. I was going to do that earlier today, but I thought, oh, there's going to be people listening today who might want to purchase it. If you get it today, you can have the discounted ebook price. I'm going to be bumping that up. In a few hours. So, last chance to grab it at its nice little special price. So I hope that you'll check it out. I hope you'll check out the other books in the series too. Love on Ice comes out in, is it next week? I think it's Thursday of next week. And then I've got several others which are based on other places that I visited. So the third book is called Checked Impressions, and that's set in Chicago, and it incorporates places that I've visited there, including especially the Art Institute, which I loved. The fourth book is called Hearts and Goals, and that's set in Montreal, and again that's based on places that I visited, especially the Botanic Gardens there. My husband's a horticulturalist, and so, I thought if I dragged him to Prince Edward Island and these L.M. Montgomery sites, the least I could do is to find a place that he might enjoy visiting. And the Botanic Gardens was just simply stunning. So I thought, well, let's incorporate that into the fourth book, Hearts and Goals. The fifth book is called Big Apple Atonement. That comes out in May. And the last book is Muskoka Blue, which is the Toronto-based book, which was actually that second book that I'd written all those years ago. So it is super duper exciting to finally be releasing these books, which I really feel are stories of my heart. And I'm so excited that people can finally read. It's been super awesome to have people respond really well to the books and write nice reviews and give them 5 stars and stuff like that. It's just, encouraging because, especially when I've been known as more of a historical author, it's a bit of a risk to sort of step out into something new. So it's been awesome to have lots of lovely readers respond so well. So thank you. If you want to know more about my books, please visit my website, carolynmillerauthor.com. I have, lots of things going on there. And I have a newsletter you can sign up for. I even have Spotify playlists for my books. I've just been investing so much in this. So, yeah, it's super cool. Thank you, Anne.
Thank you for coming on. That was so much fun. I was reading along and I was highlighting. I was highlighting all these things. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so funny. This is so funny. So thank
Well,
you.
I love to include humor. I feel like, you can read a book and it can be like, oh, yeah. But then you add the humor, it just sort of adds the sparkle, doesn't it? So,
Well,
you know,
humor's the best.
oh,
One-liners are great. One-liners are fantastic.
and it's so good when you come across people who get your humor as
Oh
well.
yes,
Not
yes, because you're like,
everybody does.
am I funny? Is this even funny? Yes, I know,
I'll
I
crack
know.
myself up, but it's nice when others crack up too.
I will be laughing hysterically. There was one book, I think Journey to Joy, and I'm writing a scene, and I am laughing so hard, I'm tears are coming out, and my family's like, "What's wrong with you? Are
Yeah,
you okay?" I'm like, I'm laughing every
yeah,
time I read that scene. I laugh so
yeah,
hard. So
yeah.
yeah,
It's
humor's
fun.
great. Humor's great. Thank you so much. It was so much fun listening to you read. I had a blast. And
Oh,
question about the Olympics.
yeah,
I the Royal Skater Chronicles that I read came
yeah.
about because I love skating, and
Yes.
the that's so cool that you had the same kind of um thought about that. That's so cool. I feel a kindred spirit with you now.
Oh, absolutely. Well, my girl's a short track speed skater, so it's pretty
Cool.
hardcore intense. I wanted her to be, because we all know the cutting edge with, awesome figure skater, and he's a hockey player sort of thing. So I didn't want to go that track. Um, but I thought, well, short track, she's got her own degree of toughness. I just look at all the Winter Olympic sports and think they are all incredibly tough
Yeah.
sports.
Yeah.
And so, how do you, I mean, this is the whole love on ice premise, how do you sustain that degree of competition, compete, all that sort of stuff with a relationship?
I know,
Like
right?
craziness,
Yeah.
craziness.
It
But
is.
I also, think as well with that sort of stuff, how do you as a Christian not form your identity in what you do, but who you are and stuff like that. So that's another question I kind of explore in that book. It's been really fun and eye-opening, and even the fact that we had the Olympics last year, and looking at Christian athletes and looking at some of their stories and what they were saying, and being able to incorporate some of that into this as well. It's been awesome timing.
Right? Right? Absolutely. So yes, thank you for your time. It's been fun. I know everyone get the book. I'm reading it. I'm laughing. I'm having a great time. Especially if you like sports. I love sports. I love skating. I love hockey. I
Yeah.
used to spend a lot of time at the hockey rink because I was a skater. So
Ah,
all my
there you go.
friends, yes. So all my friends were the guys from the hockey team. So
There
we'd
you
all
go.
hang out between practices and
Yeah.
skating. So yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Anyway,
well, and it's not too sporty either. So if you're not someone who's into sports and you
right?
just like your standard romance, things get explained. It's not too complicated or anything. So
No,
I hope you will,
yeah,
have
it's
a
good.
chance.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's good. Okay, well, thank you, and I'm gonna say good night. Good night to you, and well, actually, good day to you, Carolyn.
G'day.
Okay,
Yes,
ladies and
thanks for
gentlemen.
having me. Bye.
Bye, everyone. I'm gonna end the broadcast. Hold on, Carolyn. Carolyn.